Joining us now is America's Sheriff, Sheriff David Clarke. Boy, he's got a lot to talk about. He's got a lot going on. Sheriff David Clarke also serves as on the board of advisors at We Build the Wall, Inc. You can go to webuildthewall.org, webuildthewall.org. This is the organization started by Brow Kofaj, and he's joining us now. Hey, Sheriff, good to have you with us, man.
John, it's my pleasure, and hello once again to your listeners.
Sheriff, we're excited because everybody said you couldn't do a wall, and it could be built, and you couldn't get the government to do it, and Pelosi wouldn't give you any money. But you guys have got a wall going right down there in Texas where you've gotten through the zoning, you've gotten all the ordinances done, and it's real and it's working, and you're building miles a day. Tell us where you're at now.
Yeah, I'm back in the Midwest. I just returned over the weekend from El Paso, Texas, where El Paso runs up against New Mexico, and then on the other side is the Mexican border. And, the work down there was just tremendous by this crew, Fisher Industries. My hat's off to them. That's the construction firm. They have a can-do attitude. The reason why we chose this, as I indicated last time we talked, is because the federal government left a gap between the border wall down there, bollard-type wall between this mountainous area. But there's a strategic gap where $200,000 to $300,000 worth of illegal drugs a week are coming through. Human smuggling is going on because they left that gap there. And the reason why they left the gap there, the Army Corps of Engineers told the government that you'd never be able to build a bollard-type fence there. The terrain was too rugged for that kind of construction. Well, Fisher's Industry has a can-do attitude. As a matter of fact, we had to get the okay from the Army Corps of Engineers as well, and they came up and said, go ahead, but you're going to end up coming back with your tail between your legs because it's not buildable there. Well, it is buildable, and we just about completed a darn near 2-mile stretch in a very short period of time. And on cost, it's going to cost between $6 and $8 million to build this 2-mile stretch, bollard-type, top-of-the-art sensor system with video cameras, all for the Border Patrol. This is being done for the American people, but it's for the Border Patrol, and they're ecstatic about it. They keep stopping by the construction zone over there, and they can't believe what we've been able to do for them in that section. And like I said, we had a former government service accounting inspector come out and take a look, and he said that if the federal government did that 2-mile stretch, it would have taken them 2.5 years and would have cost $40 million. We've done it in about a month. It'll be going on a month by the time it's completed, and at a cost of $6 to $8 million. So you can see that the best thing to do in this situation down there, because the courts aren't going to, the activist courts, politically active judges have gotten in the way. They're not going to let the president do what he wants to do in the interest of security. It's a crisis down there, a humanitarian crisis. The Congress isn't going to let him do it, and that's both parties, because the first 2 years the president had a GOP Congress, and they dragged their feet on it as well. Now you have the Democrats control the House, so you have pure gridlock. But the American people, never underestimate the will and determination of the American people. When they set their minds to something, they can get it done, and that's exactly what we did.
John Fredericks Radio Network, trucking the truth across America. We're with America's Sheriff, Sheriff David Clarke. Go to americasheriff.com. Listen, he is also on the board of advisors at We Build the Wall, Inc. Go to webuildthewall.org, webuildthewall.org. Now, Sheriff Clarke, your organization has come under left-wing attacks. Somebody's saying, well, the funding that's going there is not going to the wall. Some of it is not being appropriated the right way. Can you put that to bed for us?
Yes, I can. I've made it clear that I would never be a part of a project or any kind of movement that would do that to the American people. It's all lies, all of it. Political smear attack from pro-illegal immigration groups who knew. They knew going in that we had assembled a team of people, like I said, with a can-do attitude, and we're results-oriented. We got this thing done. They knew we would, and they know that this thing's going to grow. We're not done, John. This is just a start. We have 10 other areas along the border the entire border between New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas that have these sorts of gaps in them or no wall at all. And we have identified 10 other projects. This is all on private property, so we have to work with the property owners. Most of them are at least interested right now. Their biggest fear is backlash from these pro-illegal immigration groups. The private property we're building on right now. The guys receive death threats. His email is being filled with junk email from pro-illegal immigration groups, and a lot of property owners are skittish. But some of them, they said, "To hell with it. We're being overrun. My property's being overrun. Our animals are being." Those ranchers, their animals are being stolen, their animals being killed, homes being broken into, aggressively approached and assaulted. These sorts of things are going on every single day for these people. They're living in hell, here in the United States. But we need the help of the American people. They've stepped up. We're going to ask them to continue to step up. Raised $23 million in a very short period of time, and within 6 months had shovels in the ground, construction equipment on site. The bollard-type fencing is going up. People can go to We Build a Wall and take a look at the pictures. There's some great videos and some great pictures of what's actually been done down there. And like I said, I toured some of the other areas. There's a 55-mile stretch of government wall that they stopped about a quarter mile short and left a big gap, another gap on the side of the other side, the west side of Mount Crystal Ray. That's the mountain range over there. And so you look at some of the work that the government has done, it just makes you shake your head. By the way, the wall, the material that we're using has a 75-year lifespan. The bollard-type fencing that the government uses, not as thick to steel, it only has a 25-year lifespan. So you can just see that when the American people, you can get the government the hell out of the way, great things can be done on behalf of the citizens of the United States of America. So again, we need people's donations. We have 10 other sites in the pipeline that have been identified. We're going to work with those property owners to get their approval. Now that we have one section done, we know what to do. We know what's required. It'll be able to move faster than it is now, the permitting process. We did all that. They tried to stop us, by the way. The mayor got a cease and desist order from a court, but that only lasted 36 hours. We went back. We had to clean up some things on some of the permits. And once that was done, the judge lifted the order. And, by the time that I was down there, 3-4 days up until this weekend, well, I'll tell you, that construction is moving mighty fast.
Let me ask you something, Sheriff. The stop work order that one of the local officials from Sunland Park gave you, how difficult was it to navigate your way through the local government to get that lifted? I know you got it lifted. You talked about that earlier, but like, what hoops did you have to jump through? And because obviously this is going to happen wherever you go, there's going to be government opposition to it. They're going to get judges involved giving you orders. How difficult was it to get that rescinded?
It wasn't that hard. Like I said, 36 hours it took, before the judge lifted it. But it was nitpicking by the government. It's typical. Anybody who's done any building anywhere in the United States, when you're dealing with local government, the federal government, and they're always nitpicking. They're always making it difficult for people instead of helping people. And that's supposed to be the role of government, to help people. Right. We're trying to get things done. And instead of being more help oriented, they're more roadblock oriented. So, because on a couple permits that we had all the permits, but on some of the permitting applications, we didn't cross all the I's. Cross all the T's or dot all the I's. And because of it, all of a sudden they came back. Because let me tell you right now, some of the city officials there, and actually this part was in Sunland Park, New Mexico. They didn't really want to see this. They're pro-illegal immigration down there, so they were making it difficult. But like I said, John, we have a can-do spirit. We have a can-do attitude. People want to throw up some roadblocks. We'll figure out how to get around it, over it, underneath it, and through it if we have to. And because of the attitude of the people that are on this team, people like Chris Kobach, former Secretary of State of Kansas, and some others, he's the legal counsel for this group. We got our ducks in a row. And but like I said, now when we move forward in some of these other areas, we're going to have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted right away, and then they're not going to be able to stop us. They have to have a reason to stop us, and they went in on some nitpicking, some picky units nonsense, but we were able to clean that up right away, and the judge immediately lifted the order, and the trucks got back to business down there. This thing is 18 feet high. It's 7 feet down. It's got a sensor system that'll be able to detect if anyone's trying to tunnel underneath. Down to 47 feet, the sensor will be able to pick it up. The sensors in this bollard fencing will be able to detect if someone gets within 40 feet of the wall. It'll signal. That way the Border Patrol will be monitoring, will be able to quickly dispatch somebody over there. They're not going to be able to cut through this. All the stuff that you've heard, well, people can cut through it. No, they can't. I'll tell you what, it would take you forever to cut through because this bollard steel is filled with a high-impact cement, and then 2 1.25-inch rebar are put down into the cement. If you tried to cut through it, if you got through the 1/4-inch steel, which is a lot to begin with, the government only uses 3/16-inch steel. If you got through that, you'd hit this high-impact cement, which would start to create shrapnel. It would start to shatter. You'd get hurt by that. And even if you got through the cement, you'd have to get through 2 1.25-inch steel rebar. So you could see the quality work that we've done. By the way, the government doesn't build to those specifications. And look at the costs, that they put up. So we know what we're doing, and we're going to continue to do this because, Brian Colfax, never underestimate a man with a vision who knows how to assemble a team of people with a can-do spirit. He got tired of watching this back and forth in Congress, this stymieing of the President of the United States to fix this situation down there. So he decided that the American people can do something, and he just proved it.
All right, listen, you give money to a lot of different things, right? A lot of candidates, PACs, and things like that. You never really know where the money goes. And there's been a lot of criticism, Sheriff, as you know, recently, of some of the political actions committees, some of them that tried to tie themselves to this president, and others that tied themselves to Tea Party or whatever. And, you do the research and, you get 3% of the money going to anything. The other 90% goes in people's pockets. This is real. I mean, they have a wall. It's being built. It's growing. It is going to make a difference. And so every dollar that you give, I've had people call on my show and say, I would give $200 to have my name on a brick. Well, now you can give money and you can be part of something that is real, that's being built on private property, funded by your donations. And this is a wall to basically save your country, because without a border, you have no country. Look, we just had Jerome Riviera on, right? At the EU Parliament from France, just got elected there. And he said the battle today is no more right versus left. It's nationalist patriots who want their country back and globalist faceless corporations that want to exploit labor and encourage free migration and illegal immigrants from all over the place to drive down wages. That's all it is. So you got to have a country. Go to webuildawall.org, give $50. Just not a lot of money. $425, you can do 100, do that. Give the money. Every dollar you go, it's going to build a wall, and you can see it. And if you guys keep raising money, you're going to be able to do this. And look, you're going to continue, Sheriff, to get all kinds of backlash from it. The patriots down there that are giving up their land for this, that are dealing with the backlash. But I tell you what, Sheriff, the next time you go down, I just want, give me a week, 5 days, email me. And I'm going to go down there with you. I don't care where it is. I'll just get down there. We'll do our show live. We'll do 2 days. We'll get all the people on that are building this wall. Because what you're onto is like the untold story. The fake news legacy media is not going to talk about it. Nobody's going to talk about it because they want to make believe it's not happening, and then they're going to try to stop it. But think about what you guys have done. You are building a wall. It's real. And by the end of by the end of June, how many miles will you have, Sheriff?
Well, in this section here, there was a 2-mile gap, and so that's been filled. That's what we worked on, because on the either side of that 2-mile stretch we have, there's government bollard-type fencing, one direction, west of Mount Crystal Ray. It goes 55 miles. But like I said, they left that little quarter opening at the end. We're going to try to work with that. The problem with that is that's all federal land. There's no private land there, and you know what the federal government's going to do when we try to go down there. But as far as donations, 200,000 of the people who've donated to We Build a Wall have given under $5. 200,000. So any amount, give whatever you can, $1, $2, like you said, $5. You can afford 25. That's important. But what's going on in France, it is similar to what's going on here. It's the Trump seal the border people versus the open border people. Trump America first versus the open border people. So there's some similarities coming up in 2020 with that as well. I think Macron is dead man walking in France. I think Le Pen's going to win. She's now built a critical mass that she didn't have the first time she ran. Mm-hmm. But now with the yellow vest people, she's got a critical mass out there. I think she's going to win that.
All right, we're out of time. I really want to thank Sheriff Clarke for being with us. Sheriff, I got to get down there with you. We got to do our show from down.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, we have to do that. That's absolutely critical. Go to webuildawall.org, webuildawall.org. Sheriff Clarke, he's on it, man. He's Johnny on the spot, and he's getting it done. We knew he would get it done with his team down there. Thanks for being with us, Sheriff. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.